It's the one and only Optibotimus coming to you with another video review. And on today's episode, we're going to be taking a look at the new Hot Toys MMS 436 of the deluxe version of Yondu from Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Much like all of these Guardians Volume 2 figures, the package really nicely replicates what basically looks like a stereo. You can see a lot of dials on there. You got this open section right here with Awesome Mix Volume 2 in there. And then the front section here has a nice kind of, I don't know if you hear it, kind of ribbed texture with an image of Yondu right there. That's obviously done up to look like a speaker. And then because Yondu has that little magical toy, I like how they included some of those little lines through it. I mean, that is really very cool. Come around to the side, it looks like speakers. You've got a little volume nozzle. The top section here has the buttons that you would push, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Same thing here on the side, but you got the image of the Guardian ship right there. On the back of the package, you get the various warnings and things of that nature, and then you just slide this up and off just like so, setting this off to the side. And then on the inside, it's kind of like the guts of the inside of a stereo. You got these kind of bits that look like circuits, and then on them are the cast and crew responsible for making the figure. And then you see a bigger image of the Awesome Mix Volume 2. When you slide that down, on the inside you have the open clamshell that fully showcases the figure as well as all of his accessories. Because this is the deluxe set, you also get those extra accessories right down here, which the regular version does not come with. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. Alright guys, and here we have Yondu opened up and out of his packaging. And a lot of people are saying that this is the Hot Toys Figure of the Year. And that is a huge statement. Is he that good? Well, let's find out. Starting off first, as always, let's take a quick look at his accessories. Now, as I said, this is the deluxe version, so he comes with a couple extras. We'll get to those in a second, but in addition to the two relaxed hands that are currently on him, he comes with a pair of fisted hands, which as you can see are done up in this nice blue plastic that I'm going to drop. Because obviously, he's a blue figure, so it makes sense. But it's just a regular pair of fisted hands done up in the blue. You do get a kind of gripping hand, which works perfectly for his arrow. You can see a little bit of a hole through both of those, so that works very nicely. These ones here, I'm kind of confused about. I mean, I guess you could kind of have him hold this, but it's a really loose sort of fit. It doesn't really sit in there very well. I guess you could, like I said, theoretically do it. I don't really know why you would want to and not have it be able to hold it, but you do get a right and left one for that, and then you do get one that's a little bit more closed off. You can see it's kind of a similar sort of sculpt, but this is a lot more closed, and you can take the arrow and actually fit that in there a lot better, and that actually stays in there. So this works, I think, a lot better if you're going to have this like being a I'm throwing my arrow kind of pose. So you do get those hands. Now, taking a look at his Yucca Arrow itself, now this is a little bit different than how it is in the comic books. Oh, I have mustard from my hot dog earlier. There, sharing with you. In the original, this was his primary weapon, obviously, but he used multiples of these. In the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, he's just using this one. But in combination with the fin on his head, he can actually control this with his whistle. Now, the whistle's nothing all that special, as we saw later on. Pretty much anybody can do it if they have this arrow and the fin. But Yondu really mastered it. And taking a look at the detail, hopefully it focuses. Oh yeah, you can see some amazing detail on that entire thing. You got some nice sculpted in detail, some nice silver paint, really absolutely gorgeous all the way through. Oh no, there it goes, wanting to focus on the back, but absolutely gorgeous all the way around. Very impressive, very sharp, so definitely be careful with it. So you do get this, and you actually do get a little bit of a holster for it, which is accurate to his outfit, so you can just put that right in there, just like so. It kind of falls through, though, to be honest. There's a little bit of a button-up thing right here, but it doesn't actually button on anything, so that's kind of weird. But you can just kind of have it hang in there if you really want to. Now, the other really cool thing is he comes with another one that does have the little trail effect on it. Basically the same arrow, but you can see sculpted into the back section of it is that little trail effect. Now, usually I don't like, CGI effects put in toys. I feel it looks very toyish, but I really like this. I think they did a great job with it. The coloring, in terms of the slightly pink translucent nature, the sculpt, as you can see, it kind of bends around. I do wish it was a little bit darker of a red, but it's not bad. And then what you can do is they include 2 additional pieces. I'm probably going to get this wrong. Well, yeah, this starts off in the bottom and then comes up, and you can attach this one, and you can see it has this like whole spinny sort of thing, which is amazing. Let me see if maybe it works a little bit better like this. I like wrapping this around him, so you can see that you got the whole little spin and the trail going there, kind of zip around, and then comes out and then goes zip around, and then you take this and you can put this right there. And one thing that's really cool is if you take this out, you can take the end of this section, and this actually works a little bit better. You can tuck that down there, kind of wrap it around his head like so, and you can't see none of it because I don't want to show you yet. But I'll come up. You can see what's basically happening. You can pretend like it's coming out of his holster, going around his back, flowing, and then zoop, about to zip out towards the front, which I love that. I think that is terrific. Like I said, I usually don't like with my Iron Man figures, I don't like using the thrust, or like with Thor, I don't like using the lightning effect. This I think looks really cool. I don't know why, but I absolutely love it. So you do get that. You also do get this dagger. Very simple. Nice paint on here, though. Taking a closer look at this, if I can get in real close, that actually has a really nice paint wash on there, giving it I don't want to say like a bone look, but a very worn, sort of dinged up look, which looks great. I love that. And then that can actually come around here to his wrist gauntlet here, and then you just take this, and this will slide right up through there, just like that. And you can see it actually kind of fits along that section. You can see a little bit of an outline there, so make sure you push that all the way up, just like that, and that kind of completes the look. But you can see that the gauntlet sort of fits with the knife, so you have that as well. Now, in terms of his other accessories, you don't really get much else. You see he does have the regular fin. He also does have the larger size fin. This is what a lot of people really like. This is how he looked more in Guardians of the Galaxy 1 and the majority of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. That was damaged, you remember, and then he couldn't control his arrow. But this is a prototype fin, which really does nicely harken to the original sort of look for Yondu, which is great. Again, taking a look at the detail on this, really nice sculpt work on there, some nice paint. You got some really nice black shade throughout there. The underside here actually has some nice tech detail put in there as well. That looks really nice. I'm actually curious. It's magnetic, which it's kind of a pain in the butt because you don't get a magnet, but to remove it. But it's actually fairly easy. You just kind of lift this up. Oh, that has that same tech detail underneath there as well. So that looks really cool. Unfortunately, no damage other than a giant gaping hole through the middle of his head. So that kind of stinks. I wish there was some, tech detail under there showing the damage. But you just remove that like so. You take this fin and then you just put it right on there. And again, it's a magnet. This one's a little bit easier to pull off because obviously you have a little handle, but you do have that little piece right now. Then you get this guy, little baby Groot, which is terrific. We're getting a bunch of these lately, and I think it looks amazing. Get him out of the way. That way we can focus on him. But real nice detail. You can see he actually comes on a little bit of a display stand, but great paint detail throughout the entire figure. You can see some nice green on his head. You got really nice brown. The outfit looks really good with some nice shading, some silver and gold paint on there. You got a little buttons right there, and then you got that nice zipper in the front. Obviously, he's very angry, and he's reaching out with his little arms, which He's amazing. I just love it. It's the cutest little thing. So we're getting a bunch of these little baby Groots recently, you know, with like Star-Lord. I think we got one with the Rocket Raccoon figure. I think that these are terrific additions, and I love having them. It's, you know, one of those things where, are you going to be displaying him a lot, especially when that teenage version of him comes out? Probably not so much, but I still think this looks really nice. And then in terms of final accessories for the regular version, as well as the deluxe, he does come with this display base. You got that really nice glossy Guardians of the Galaxy logo. Yondu, not metal or aluminum or whatever it was, so that is a little bit cheapish, I feel, but I really like the base. It's a smaller one, some nice detail there on the back. Obviously you have the adjustable cradle, but I like it. It's not too big, it's not too small, and you know, I really like the image. Now, as I said, this is the deluxe version, and I gotta be honest, I don't really think that the deluxe version is worth it all that much. You do get a jetpack, which I'm not going to put it on. I've seen people have problems with this, mostly because of the outfit. You could potentially damage it. There's a lot of little pieces on there that I'll show off later on. It feels and looks like it's the same as Star-Lord's. I'm not all into this. I mean, it looks terrific, great paint detail throughout the entire thing. You see that nice silver, you got some nice gold bits, red bits, black, all really nicely detailed and painted. I just kind of meh about it. Now, he also does come with the cage that Baby Groot was kept in. You can open it up and you can take Baby Groot, and you can, very carefully, because his fingers kind of get in the way, you can kind of wedge that in there. And I like that. I think that's a cool looking display option, especially if you have some way that you could hang that. I think that's really neat, but is it really necessary? Again, I don't think so. It is made out of plastic. It does have a slightly fragile feel to it. So, I mean, it's definitely, I don't want to say cheap, because the paint detail and everything on here is really nice. They do a really good job of making it look like, I wonder if you can, no, that doesn't do anything. Making it look like a metal cage. You got a nice little lock right there. But again, I don't feel like these are worth the extra price. Obviously, it's going to increase the price because you're adding those on there. I just don't feel like it's worth getting it. And finally, you get another gun for Rocket. This one's not bad. I feel like it's too small for a Rocket, though. But again, great paint detail on the entire thing. The silver looks amazing. You got some little red bits on the inside there. Nice gunmetal gray kind of thrown throughout it as well. But you can see like some wires sort of molded in and painted on the inside. I mean, it's a great looking gun. And you can see it's very small handle, so it definitely fits Rocket very well. I just feel like it's too small of a gun for him. So I gotta say that if you're gonna get this figure, unless you really like these particular scenes, like this scene and when he was in there, the gun, you know, it is, you know, it's a nice gun, but I think better guns are out there for Rocket. I don't really feel like, I really can't recommend the deluxe set. It's just, to me, not really worth it. But for the accessories, that's everything that you get with the regular as well as the deluxe version. Now, coming in to take a closer look at the figure, this portrait is absolutely phenomenal. In terms of the likeness, I can absolutely see why so many people say that this could easily be Hot Toys figure of the year. The likeness to Michael Rooker is mind-blowing. Everything on here looks terrific. Great detail and paint variation in the kind of shaved head area. Even when you look down here at his little goatee, I think they did a really nice job of making that look like actual facial stubble and not just molded plastic. That really looks great. You got a nice smirk on him, which is very characteristic of Michael Rooker. The only thing that I would potentially say would be better is if we got an alternate portrait with him whistling, so that you can really utilize, you know, his Yucca Arrow. If you're going to display that with that, it makes sense to have him be able to whistle. Now, taking a look at the rest of the costume, it is really very, very dense. There's a lot to it. You can see that you got like a little shirt underneath, you got a vest on the outer section, you got these belts and buckles, you have his outer jacket. I mean, there's a lot of layering to this, and a lot of it has some really nice detail. One thing that I did notice that was a problem though was this piece right here. You can kind of see like the glue has come undone, and it has one of the straps. You can see that strap right there goes underneath there, so it's kind of melted a little and it's not really adhered very well with the glue, so that does kind of suck, and it kind of makes things move around. You got this little strap right here that is magnetic. I have no idea why you need that to be magnetic. Now, as I talked about in the original comics, Yondu utilized a lot of arrows that he could control, but he usually had multiple ones. I like how they have some smaller ones right here. To my knowledge, he never used it. He just used his, you know, primary arrow, but it's nice that that's on there, kind of like an homage to that original sort of character, I guess. But some nice straps, buckles throughout the entire thing, a whole bunch of stuff that I have no idea what it is. You got the Ravager logo right there. You come around, you can see a lot more of these like little hooks and things. The jacket looks fantastic, very similar to obviously Star-Lord's, so you have a very similar look to it. The inside, get these arms lifted up, you can see some really nice detailing on the inside with some patterns and stuff. Again, you got the belt. It feels like it's a little loose. I don't know if it's supposed to be that loose, but it feels like it's a little loose right here, but it's not terrible. As I said, you have this thing right here with the little hole and a little button section right there, but there's no place to put the button, so I don't know what you would do with that, but that, to me, that looks a little bit too clean. I wish that was dirtied up a little bit more, or with a little bit of extra wear on there or something. The pants look phenomenal. Again, nice tailoring and texture detail. You come down to the boots. I really like how they did this. They're in two separate sections, so this little bit here moves up, and then you get the full range of motion with the ankle. So I like how they utilize kind of the folds and natural creases in a boot sort of thing to create articulation points. I think that's really very, very nice. The overall detail though on this is spectacular. Whether you use this fin or the original one, I think he is incredible looking. Now, in terms of his articulation, it's fairly standard. The only thing that really kind of deviates would be the neck. As you can see, it's all sculpted as part of the head. So the articulation point is down at the base. So it does kind of look a little bit weird when you're kind of moving it around. It's not bad or anything, but that's where that piece of articulation is. The shoulders here, there is a little bit of restriction with the jacket, but just move it up and you can kind of get that to go along with it. As you can see, it is a sleeveless kind of jacket, so it doesn't really hinder too much. It's mostly in the sleeve of the shirt itself that you're dealing with. It does rotate. He's got two bends here at the elbow, which is nice. The wrists move forward and back, in and out, all that kind of stuff. Coming down to the waist and abdomen area, you do have that ab crunch, and then you have the waist as well, so that moves around very nicely. The outfit really doesn't hinder too much. So that's Velcroed, so no, you can't really do too much with that because that strap comes around there. But just know that when you move things around, you're going to have to futz with everything to kind of get it back to where it needs to be. The hips move forward and back. There is some restriction in this upper area, so it is a little bit tighter. Mostly because of the way that the pants are here, and they kind of bunch up, but you can kind of get it moving that far, I'd say, comfortably. You got a little butt flap, moves in and out, but there is some tightness right in the crotch area, so don't overdo it. Obviously, you got a rotation here at the upper part of the thigh. You got two bends here at the knee, and then, as I said, the ankles around ball joints, which get you a full range of motion, forward, back, in, out, side to side, all that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I mean, basic articulation. Well, not really basic. I mean, it's fully articulated. It's just we're kind of used to the level of articulation by this point in time now. So overall, a really great. Oh, one thing that I forgot to mention is that his jacket down here does have a wire going through it, so you can flex that and get some really cool kind of flowing poses with his jacket. Or if you want to do the Yucca Arrow, you can open this up like that. You can use his hand kind of to position. Let's see if I can kind of do that. You guys know I'm not very good at posing, but you can do something like that. You can then that, and then like I said, you can take get him to actually stand. You can take the Yucca Arrow accessory. You can tuck that down and in, bring this around like so. Let's get that all the way down there. There we are. And then you can bring that around like that, which, I mean, that is really very cool. I kind of feel like this is angling down. Let me try that a little bit better. And that, well, kind of bends the whole thing. It doesn't really sit, so I'll have to fiddle with it. But in general, I love this look. I think that this is a really stellar looking piece and another exceptional release by Hot Toys. But now we come to that question that I posed at the beginning of the review. Is this figure the Hot Toys figure of the year? Well, this being August and the year almost over, it's really hard to say that it's not. But there are other figures that are coming out, so I guess that really remains to be seen. What I will say is that this figure is terrific. If you like accessories, you do have that additional option of the deluxe set, and to be honest, those pieces only add an extra $25 to the price. If you're already gonna buy this guy, you might as well get the deluxe set. Even though I don't really have much of a use for those other accessories, at least you get them. So the accessory count is pretty good. The only thing that I would have liked to have seen added in addition to what we have would be an alternate portrait. Like I said, this looks great, but I wish that there was a whistling portrait that we could use to put on there if we're going to use it with his Yucca Arrow. As for the outfit, I, again, am absolutely blown away. The layers and layers upon detail is really very, very impressive, especially since he seems to be wearing a lot of stuff and it doesn't really restrict much of his articulation. The only part that I wish was a little bit better would have been the glue area right there, but that could be just on mine and it's a case-by-case basis, so I'm not going to really knock it for that. But I will mention, when you're paying this much for it, you don't want to come across something like that. That does kind of suck. But where this figure absolutely shines is the portrait. The likeness to Michael Rooker as Yondu is amazing. Again, the only way that it could have been better is if we got an additional one of him whistling. But the detail, the paint, everything on there is incredible. If it's not the Hot Toys figure of the year, it's definitely up there in the running. And the only thing really holding it back is the fact that we have 4 more months of releases from Hot Toys to look at. So, all that being said, Yondu is a tough figure to find right now. He's sold out at a lot of places. But what you can do, and I'll put a link down in the video description, is go to BBTS. When figures such as this are actually announced, they go up for pre-order. The really nice thing about using Big Bad Toy Store is there isn't, for the most part, any money that you need to put down. You can pre-order it, you can save money over time, and when it comes out, usually at least a year from the pre-order date, if you saved wisely, you should have enough money to be able to buy these guys. If there are any problems, you can always cancel and Big Bad Toy Store doesn't penalize you. So again, like I said, for all of your Hot Toy figures, I'll put a link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can check out availability on this, as well as the rest of the wide range of Hot Toys 1/6 scale figures. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. Remember, if you like this video, I would really appreciate your support by letting me know simply by hitting that thumbs up button. It actually does go a long way towards helping me out, and I would really appreciate it. Also, if you're new here, welcome. And before you go, make sure you subscribe in case you haven't already subscribed. That way you'll get instant email notifications whenever I upload a new video, and you'll never miss out on a future review of mine. Or hey, if you're already subscribed, now more than ever, it's important to make sure that you're getting those email notifications. We all know just how unreliable that YouTube subscription box is, and the best way to help support my channel and not miss any future reviews of mine is to click on that little bell right below this video and double check your settings to make sure that they're set so that you get those email notifications. And a very special thanks to you if you made it all the way to the end of this review. Another way that you can really help support my channel is making sure that you watch a video all the way through. And if you did that, thank you. And again, a huge shout out to all of my patrons who through their continued support help to make reviews like this possible. And finally, remember, the real trouble with the world is too many people grow up. Thank you for watching and taking the time to be a kid.
Watch out, here comes my arrow. Legolas sucks, and Yondu is the one. One more time. Watch out, here comes